So you can have all the great intentions in the world to read loads and loads of books, and sometimes you just can't. This week, I've been reorganizing a lot of stuff in this shed, and for all the comic collectors in there, you know that it consumes your entire life. I haven't read that much this week, but I have read some stuff. The first book I did read this week, W0rldtr33, Volume 1. This is written by James Tynion, with art by Fernando Blanco. I'll just read this. In 1999, Gabriel and his friends discovered the Undernet, a secret architecture to the internet. They charted their exploration on a message board called W0rldtr33. Then they lost control. Someone broke into W0rldtr33, someone who welcomed the violent hold the Undernet had on them. At great personal cost, Gabriel and the others thought they sealed the Undernet away for good. They were wrong, and now the whole world will know the meaning of fear. Fear, PH34R. It's really cool. It's like that's the first time I've read like a kind of cyber horror story type of thing. I can imagine that it's maybe inspired by the dark web. Essentially, there's some sort of psycho, supernatural world somewhere, and they somehow converge into our world via the internet, but underground, called the Undernet. And these young teenagers, these IT geeks, discover it, take it down, but like we're 20 years later in the future, and it's come back. This is superb. And starting this video with this is actually, this has set the bar for the year for me. If I'm looking for a read of the year, the books going forward will have to beat this one. This is superb. I give it 5 stars. Did I give it 5 stars? I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars, but it was like a 4.5 leading towards 5, because the reason being there's so much more to come from this. The character work was pretty good. Gabriel was like the lead kind of tech guy, and he was like the kind of leader of the wee teenage group, and he becomes like a tech guru, and a multi-billionaire, but essentially he's been planning this comeback the whole time, that he knows this is going to come back, and he's got these plans in place to take it down. And yeah, the characters are really cool. The kind of villain, there's a twist to who the villain is in this, and essentially what happens is that people become possessed by this supernatural being on the Undernet, which leads to them like killing people, like mass murders live on Facebook and stuff. It's really, really good. I've heard that kind of dips a little bit in quality going forward, but the concept's fantastic. The execution in this volume is fantastic. It's made me wanting more. That's the job it's meant to do. I've high hopes for this. W0rldtr33. Daniel Warren Johnson's Space Mullet. That's up next. This was gifted to me within our Comic Airwaves Discord community. We've done a Secret Santa. I don't know who gave this to me, so whoever has done, thank you very much, because this was superb. This is some of Daniel Warren Johnson's earlier work, and basically, with his popularity in recent years, Image, who have him now doing Transformers, have went back and reprinted, or printed, I don't know if they ever printed them previously, some of his older works, one of them being Space Mullet. This follows like a ex-marine, space marine kind of guy, who has a dark history. He's done something in the past, something he's not proud of, and he's essentially running away from that, and he has a ship, and he's just going job to job throughout the cosmos, and he encounters a few friends, he owes people some money. It's really quite entertaining. There's no question it's really good, and with Daniel Warren Johnson, you're getting all those emotional beats you generally would get in his stories. The only thing I kind of noticed with this, and it's not, I don't mean this to be a critique, certainly like overly bad anyway, it's that this is obviously his earlier work. You can tell now what he does now. He's absolutely refined his skills, but it's good to see where it started and how it's progressed from this to now. This is still a fantastic story. The art is typical Daniel Warren Johnson, kind of big, bombastic, kind of, you get all these action splash pages, you get all the kind of like, he also draws like the words, the sound effects and stuff. You still get that. Color wise, it's black and white with like a light blue, sky blue wash throughout parts of it. I still really like it, but certainly from now, if you look at the work he does currently, it always seems to be with Mike Spicer on color, and he obviously elevates his art to such a high standard. This is still fantastic, but it's good to see where he started to where he is now. Still really enjoyed this story. You're going to get heartfelt moments. You're going to have a good bit of action. Yeah, I'd recommend this if you're a Daniel Warren Johnson fan, certainly. This week we saw the trailer of the new Fantastic Four movie, which some people like, some people don't, but I for one, I'm still excited to see it. I can't wait. But it's left me wanting some Fantastic Four action. I read the Dan Slott run, or parts of it, I should say, 5-6 years ago, and it was okay, but I failed. I struggled to get into it in depth. I've heard good things about Ryan North run on Fantastic Four, so this is from 2022, still the ongoing writer at the minute. If you're a fan of Alex Ross, he does all the covers for them, so I mean that's one bonus for you there too. This story, it's hard to say it's a jumping on point, but again, for me who has little knowledge, little experience of the Fantastic Four, I jumped into this and I thoroughly enjoyed it. People describe Marvel as being more fluffy than DC, and I'm not here to compare Marvel and DC, they're just two different things, just forget about it. But I really enjoy, if this is fluffy, I really enjoyed the fluffiness of this. Something's happened in New York. Reed Richards has done something, you know, he's obviously thinking he's a know-it-all type of thing, and he does something that may save the world, but it has ramifications down the line for a lot of people. And basically, like, New York and the population are now, they're pissed at the Fantastic Four, and the team are like most pissed at each other too. So they've all kind of buggered off and done their own separate things. So the first 3 issues are Ben Grimm and Alicia's. They're away in a quiet town for a weekend away. Johnny, he's living a double life. He's got a secret identity now, a new identity, and he's trying to basically hide who he was before, but he can't help himself. And then you find out from Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm where they get up to, and it leads into kind of overarching storyline, that there's something more afoot here, and then we have all this bacteria and stuff that comes, and green algae around the world come from like a wow, it's so scientific, like in terms of Reed Richards would love this, like the neutrons have been reversed, all that kind of nonsense, but it's really, really good. The best part about this book is the characters. Ben Grimm's fantastic, Alicia's fantastic, Johnny's fantastic, they're all fantastic, but hey, do you think that's why they're called the Fantastic Four? I think so, because they're all genuinely fantastic. Ben Grimm being the standout for me, there's no question, he's the best. He's the best character, he's the one I care about the most. Reed Richards, to be fair, you kind of see why a lot of people hate him. I don't mean readers, I mean like the characters within the stories, because he's obviously making judgments based on like the possibility or the probability, you know, there's a higher % chance this happens and this, so he's all calculated and cold. He thinks he's doing the right thing, but he's just like a maths, physics, scientific person. He only cares about the numbers and the chances, and not so much about the humane feelings. And you can see this in the team dynamic and the kind of bit of conflict between it. Genuinely really good. The art is by Ivan Coelho. I'm not too familiar with his stuff, but it works for this. I quite like the way that each issue, like I say, is a separate thing, and you're getting the kind of heartfelt stuff from each character, and then, but overall there's something in the background. You don't see a lot of that these days. Like everything seems to be like a chapter, and it's like leading into something else, and leading into something else. It's like, no, this is just telling a story of how Alicia and Ben Grimm went to this small town, and this small town was stuck in a time loop in 1947 or something, and every day is repeated. It's a Groundhog Day. But then the next issue, like that's not relevant at all, but it's fantastic, really, really good. Just, I'd recommend it. I would. Now, I haven't read anything from the pull list this week. I'm sorry, I know it disappoints some people. I know Fuzzy, for example, he likes to hear. If there's any issues come out this week or last week that I've maybe missed, just let me know what's good. What's on the up? What's people talking about? But because I haven't read that much this week, I thought I'll give a wee bonus unboxing, because everyone likes wee unboxing, but I didn't want to do a separate unboxing video, so here we go. I've got 2 books for you, and they both come in like a big box, as well as a big comic mailer. So I've taken the privilege. I've taken the steps to open the big box to save the time here. All you have to do is just turn this little tab off each of them and we'll see what we've got. Alright, so the first book is... Okay, so I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I don't know if you could tell. Can you tell? Yes, big Spider-Man fan. Can't say I can go. I've ever went back and read all like the Silver Age books. So the omnibus has come out, and I have volumes 1 to 5. They've released a volume 6, which is kind of unheard of. I don't think there's any other book that's released a volume 6 of the old Silver Age stuff. It's quite thin for an omnibus. This has Marv Wolfman, his run. I don't know who these other guys are. Ross Andrew and Keith Pollard. Collecting issues 181 to 205, plus a couple of annuals in there. The Spectacular Spider-Man annual and What If 1, 78 and 19. So I'm guessing it's all just Marv Wolfman centric stuff. I can't honestly say what's in this run I know of, but I feel like I needed to have this, and I am planning one day to read the whole Spider-Man stuff. So there's 6 volumes. And then there's like, I think another 10 on top of that for like modern day stuff. 2035. Come back to me for a review of The Amazing Spider-Man. Book number 2 from the unboxing. Oh, guys. The Magic Order. This is the library. Is it called Library Edition or Deluxe Edition? I'm going to say Library Edition because it's Dark Horse. Dark Horse Library Edition. The Magic Order. It collects the first 2 series of it. Mark Millar being obviously the creator of this. The art for the first book is Olivier Coipel, and Stuart Immonen becomes the artist in the second series. This was sold to me at the time. I've read this in single issues when it first came out. This was sold to me as like Harry Potter meets Goodfellas or The Sopranos or something like that. I was like, alright, you've got me, cool. But this is basically what it is. You have all these different families, the magic families, and they're almost competing for territory and power and all the rest of it. And there's like power that's passed down to generations, but the kids don't want to be part of their family business and all this kind of stuff. And it's genuinely really good, and it starts off quite graphic. The first issue, for example, a young boy is under a spell, and he goes and basically stabs his dad through the throat, and you see the whole kind of scene and stuff. But it becomes, listen, I don't want to talk too much, I don't want to like oversell it, I don't want to undersell it. This is fantastic. The Magic Order, volume 1, but contains 1 and 2. I think there's 5 in total, so expect another. They could fit 3. Why do they do this? If it was an even number of 6 like series, they could do 2 for each book and have 3 books and that's it, but no, they don't. They've got 3 more and that's it. So we're going to have another book this size and then a smaller one, or a bigger book, and I don't like that. And that concludes another weekly reader. Thank you to everyone who's watched this far. Thank you to everyone who's watched the previous videos and liked and commented, and any new subscribers to the channel, thank you very much. Thoroughly enjoyed doing this again. It's getting me back into comics again. I'm reading more now than I have read in a long time, and this is part of it, so I do fully appreciate everyone's support on that. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra. Ta-ra.